Don't judge a book by its cover, they say. But of course we all do. After all, that's why books have pretty covers. What makes a book beautiful? What constitutes beauty? Is there one thing that makes a specific object objectively beautiful? Those are very deep questions, and honestly, I don't know. For example, I find this beautiful. I think this book cover is gorgeous. It calms me, it brings me the feeling of the book. I think it's brilliant. Though I think we can all agree that it's not some great work of art and nobody's spraying too many muscles coming up with it. I also think this pile of cheese is pretty. Or this one. Now that I think about it, it's mostly just scenes of nature. However, this video is not going to be about the cheesy covers I find pretty. I can make a video like that if you're interested. Instead, today we're going to talk about books that have obviously taken some extra thought and some extra effort to be made to look extra beautiful. I have 12 books here, not exactly 12 books, but 12 entities, so to speak, and we're going to talk about them in no particular order. The first one we're going to talk about is The Lord of the Rings and Hobbit box set. This is the illustrated box set and it's an absolute work of art, which I will put down now because it's very, very heavy. Each and every single one of these books comes in a very beautiful classy hardback with golden foiling, a dust jacket with an original illustration, beautiful end pages, a very good quality paper, some extra color for the chapter titles and the page numbers, and some lovely illustrations spread throughout every single book. Each of them also comes with a ribbon bookmark, and they're all safely stored in this very sturdy box set. I love this series, and I think the illustrated editions really bring the Middle-earth to life. Next, we're going to continue with another set of illustrated special editions, and those are A Game of Thrones and A Clash of Kings by George R. R. Martin, which are the first two books in A Song of Ice and Fire series. Each of those books comes in a beautiful naked hardback with golden and silver foiling, with beautiful end pages which show illustrated maps of the north and the south of Westeros. We have very special and lovely chapter headers, and both black and white and full color illustrations. And of course, a ribbon bookmark. When I was looking to buy the illustrated editions of A Song of Ice and Fire, because I am such a big fan of the series, I was considering between these versions and these ones. And I definitely like these ones better. I think these covers definitely suit the mood of A Song of Ice and Fire. I absolutely love these books, and I am very much looking forward to completing the entire collection, although that's gonna happen in stages because those books aren't cheap. Next we have a very beautiful edition of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is the Kiltern or Chiltern edition. I really don't know how to read this thing. The book comes with an absolutely phenomenal textured naked hardback, an extremely high quality paper, and golden sprayed edges, as well as a ribbon bookmark, of course. I randomly found this book in a bookstore in Bulgaria and was absolutely mesmerized by its look and by the feel of it, so I decided to purchase it, and I'm really happy. Later on I found out that this is an entire series of classics, and I was thinking of purchasing the rest of them, but we will see if I will be able to do so. Next, we're going to do a few Illumicrate special editions. Now, I have around 20 of those, and while I think most of them are beautiful in their own right, being that they're special editions, I have limited my choice to 3 or 4 of those because I wanted to only stick to the ones that I really thought were exceptional. And we're going to start with one that I don't know if you can call it exceptional, but I find it to be exceptional for several reasons, and I'll show you why. The book is God Killer by Hannah Kaner, and it actually pretty much keeps the original cover in terms of design, although it changes the color scheme a little bit. While I think this book deserves to be on this list is first of all because the color scheme that they chose is absolutely phenomenal. The sprayed edges bring the book to the next level. On top of that, when you remove the dust jacket, you see this beautiful painted naked hardback with the golden foiling on the spine. And when you open the book, you see some of the most beautiful end pages. The book also comes with a beautiful map and custom headers for the different chapters. This book just came out this year and I was already excited about reading it, but when I received this edition, and mind you, I have the original paperback over here, but when I received this edition, I became even more excited to read it because I think the design of the book tells its own story and it kind of gets you in the mood for reading such a story. Holding this book is an experience of its own. So even though I don't need 2 editions of this book, I am still happy I got them, and even if I don't like it, I will still be enjoying looking at this piece of art. The next Illumicrate book I'm gonna discuss is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. I received this one in the November maybe box, I'm not entirely sure. I will link the unboxing videos in the video description if you're interested in seeing them. Why I chose this book to be on this list is because this is probably the most beautiful dust jacket I have seen in a very long time, both in terms of color scheme and the amount of effort that went into foiling it in such a lovely way. But when you remove the dust jacket, you are faced with an even more impressive naked hardback with probably even more foiling, done in an absolutely stunning way. The book also features beautiful end pages and sprayed and stenciled edges all the way through, which is a very rare thing to see. The book features lovely chapter headers, and every now and then you will see a page from a compendium, what it seems like, for the different creatures that are being discussed in the book. I gotta be honest with you, when I read the synopsis of this book, I was a little bit underwhelmed. It didn't sound like something I'm gonna be interested in, but when I look at this edition, I just can't help myself wanting to actually read it, because again, it carries its own experience. Next, we have another Illumicrate book, and I think this is one of the first ones that I received, and that is This Woven Kingdom by Tahera Mafi. I'm guessing you can already tell that I have a thing for foiling on books. This one comes without a dust jacket, but the naked hardback is absolutely stunning with its golden and silver foiling and its amazing sprayed and stenciled edges which match the theme on the cover. It has very nice bright orange end pages, which I didn't expect to like, to be honest, but apparently I do. In addition to that, every single chapter has a specific header page, which is absolutely stunning. I made a full review of this book in a video where I read and review 10 of the Illumicrate books. You can watch it here. And even back then, I was so impressed by the way this book looked, and still am. But what I'm gonna say here is that this design matches perfectly what the book is about and just brings an extra level of excitement to the reading experience. And the last Illumicrate book I'm gonna talk about today is this special edition of Babel by R.F. Kuang. The book comes in a protective casing with a little bit of foiling, which I believe carries the original cover of the book. And when you pull out the book, you see this beautiful naked hardback with the design of the Tower of Babel, which, by the way, is very, very detailed. The book's spine is lovely, but what got my attention the most were these beautiful sprayed and stenciled edges, which carry a quote from the book. When you open the book, you can see these beautiful end pages, and every single chapter header has a very simple, nice design. I chose to add this one to this list because of the multi-layered design that you can see here with the box and with the naked hardback being different from the original cover, which, by the way, the original cover is also stunning, but I also like the little foiling details here and there and the sprayed and stenciled edges, which obviously took a lot of effort. I really think that this design brings out the mystery of the book itself. The next book I'm going to talk about is probably the first book that I bought that I really thought, okay, this is a very, very special thing. And that is the special edition of Dune by Frank Herbert. This is probably the most colorful book I have on this list. This is a very popular special edition with its absolutely phenomenal cover, with the color scheme and with the reflective surfaces. It just catches the eye and the attention. The naked hardback has some golden foiling on the spine of the book, as well as some pressed in details, I'm not sure that's the proper term, on the front and the back cover. We also have these beautiful, beautiful sprayed edges, as well as lovely end pages. Other than that, there's not much special going on the inside of the book, but the general combination of all the elements is so phenomenal that I was left speechless the first time I saw this book, and I absolutely wanted it. And it was a little bit expensive at the time, but I am so glad I got it because this book is just fantastic. It actually got me to read Dune, which I didn't have the intention to do so prior to it. I am shallow like that, I guess, but I am so happy because I loved the book itself as well. The next book we're going to talk about is a book I actually recently hauled, and that is the special edition of The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This book comes in a protective casing in a very beautiful green color with some golden foiling and some very, very gentle details on the spine as well as on the front and the back. The naked hardback itself is stunning with its beautiful front cover and the lovely spine with gentle details and the nice quote on the back of the book. When you open the book, you can see this lovely illustration on the first end page that shows a scene from the book that just captures the entire mood of the book and made me so happy to see. Of course, every chapter has its own custom header. And when you get to the end of the book, you can see this lovely illustrated map on the back end page. The book comes with a ribbon bookmark and amazing sprayed edges. I had been looking for a very beautiful edition of The Eye of the World for a long time now. I already own 2 other editions, none of which represents what this book means to me and how special it is. And since it's very difficult for me to find the actual original hardbacks with the illustrations of Michael Whelan, as soon as I saw this one and actually a promotional email that I received in my mailbox, I immediately went and pre-ordered it. I have to say, this is not the best quality of materials that I have seen so far being used in a book, but still, the end result is beautiful in its own right. I just hope it lasts for a long time. Now, we're getting to the final stretch, and I am so happy to talk about the last 3 books that I have on this list because they're by the same author, which is my favorite author as of right now, and I'm sure you can guess who that is. The first book is the book that I received and read from him the most recently, and that is Tris of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. As you know probably, this is the first secret project that kicked off the year of Sanderson, and I just received it a few days ago. The book comes as a naked textured hardback with some golden and mint green maybe foiling all over the place, as well as some reflecting black paint. It is leather bound and green leather. It's absolutely stunning to hold in your hands. The end pages are gorgeous, showing some elements from the story. The paper quality is really good. And all over the book you can see some extra color, mostly green in the beginning chapter headers, which later on transforms into red and black. The book also features multiple illustrations, some of which are only black and white, some of which feature a little bit of green, and some of which are full color. This book, as I mentioned already, is absolutely phenomenal to hold in your hands. It reeks of quality work and of extra effort put into it. Not to mention that even the box that it arrived in and the way it was packaged was so great. I can honestly say that the team of Dragonsteel, Brandon Sanderson's team, has done a fantastic job, splendid job with this book. Not just with the way it looks, but the way it feels in your hands. Continuing with Brandon Sanderson, the next book I'm going to talk about is the leather-bound special edition of Elantris, which is the first Brandon Sanderson book I ever read, and the first book that got me in love with his stories. The leather on the leather-bound cover is really thick and seems like a great quality. I don't know if it's real leather, but either way, it just looks phenomenal. The cover also features a ton of silver foiling all over the place. The edges of the pages are sprayed with silver paint, and the book also has a silver ribbon bookmark, which is really broad and very nice. All over the book you can see some extra color in the chapter headers and the beginning of every single chapter. But what caught the attention for me the most was the quality of the paper that was used for this book. Every single page is heavy and thick and so nice to hold in your hands. Not to mention the beautiful end pages, which feature illustrations from the book, and the extra book art provided, which just was such a lovely surprise. The book was also signed by Brandon Sanderson. This book is heavy and it's beautiful and it feels phenomenal to hold in your hands, and I am so worried I'm gonna peel the foiling from the cover. So every time I hold it like this, obviously I didn't buy this to read from it. I have another edition of Elantris on my bookshelves from which I read often whenever I want to reread it. But this is just such a special book for me, and I am so happy I splurged for it because it's not cheap, but I can understand why, because every single detail in this book feels of good quality. And then last, but absolutely not least, this is one of my favorite books, if not my favorite book of all time, and probably the most special book for me, and the book that I've spent the most money on probably, and that is the special leather-bound edition in 2 volumes of The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. And of course I held it upside down. I have a full unboxing and flip through review of this book, so I will link it here instead of going through it all over again. But I'm just gonna say that from the protective casing, which comes with a little bit of velvet on the inside and is very sturdy and nice, with this lovely foiling on it itself, with the cloth bound around it, in combination with these two phenomenal books with their golden sprayed edges and blue and gold foiling on the covers, with the amazing quality of the leather on the covers, with the amazing quality of the paper of these books, the extra color on the inside, the extra art on the inside, the special attention that was paid to every single detail, with the quotes on the back and the foiling on the front. This is the most beautiful book I have ever held in my hands, and the most special one to me. And not just because it is my favorite book, but because it has taken so much effort and special attention to produce these amazing editions. It is a thing of beauty and a piece of art, and I am so happy and proud to be owning these books. I can look at them for days and just be happy to have them around me. Again, this edition isn't cheap, but again, I think it's worth every single penny. And though I didn't buy it to read through it, although I don't need it, and you don't either, to be a fan or to support the author, there is something special and magical about having such a book on your bookshelves and being close to it. And that, my friends, concludes this video about the 12 most beautiful books that I own as of right now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know which one was the most beautiful in your opinion, and I would be very curious to hear what is the most beautiful book you own. Thank you for watching, and if you'd like to see more of my random miscellaneous videos, I'm gonna leave some stuff over here. Bye!